Hey guys, you ready for chapter 2 of Clementine? The first chapter, we left off with poor little Clementine getting in trouble. She got in trouble because of why? She was really helping her friend, right? Well, I don't really know if she's a friend. She was helping the girl in the bathroom. The girl was like, hey, cut my hair. She listened. She got in humongous trouble. And then it says at the end that she was just sitting there in the principal's office getting in trouble, right? Clementine is a happy-go-lucky, smiley girl, right? How do you feel about that? Did she do something wrong? She was trying to be a friend and help out. So socially, she did a good job of trying to be a good friend. But is there something that she could do different? Maybe she shouldn't have picked up scissors and cut someone's hair. Just because your friends are asking you to do something, it doesn't mean that that's the right choice. And that'll happen over and over again in your life. The older you get, there'll be more situations like that. A friend might ask for help with something, but then you have to use your wisdom and your strength to make the right decision so that the good will come out of it and not bad. So maybe if she didn't cut her hair, her mom could have helped her with her hair, right? And then she wouldn't be bald and she wouldn't look like a dandelion like Clementine's picture she drew of her. All right, we're going to go to chapter 2 and wait till you see Margaret's hair. Look at that. Chapter 2. Margaret was waiting for me in the lobby of our apartment building when I got off the bus after school, and I showed her the picture I made of her. Ah! She screams. I look just like a dandelion. That's how good of an artist I am. Everybody knows exactly what I drew. Dandelions are beautiful. I pulled her into the elevator, which has mirrors on all sides, so that she could see that she looked exactly like the drawing that I made. Margaret shook her head. For flowers, maybe, but not for people's heads. Besides, dandelions are yellow, not brown. I look like a dead dandelion. And she brightened up a little bit. Maybe that would help if I made my hair yellow. And then she took a long I wish look at my hair in the mirror. Or maybe I can make it red like yours. For the first time that day, I finally saw Margaret smile. I can do that for you, Margaret, I told her. Oh, sure, I can make your hair red, and then you could just look like me and we could be twins. How? Margaret said. I'd been so happy to see Margaret smile that I'd forgotten about that part. But then a great idea popped right into my head. I was lucky that way, because great ideas are always popping into my head without me even really having to think through them. My mother has some special markers for her work. They color over everything, and then the color stays there. Spinach got a hold of one and chewed one up all over the walls, and my parents couldn't get it off. They had to paint the whole room. That's how permanent those markers are. Okay, fine. My brother's name is not really Spinach, but I got stuck with that name. It's a fruit, and I don't think it's fair that I have a name of a food and he doesn't. And the only thing worse than a fruit name is a vegetable name. So that's what I think he should have. And so I collected a lot of names from him. Spinach did what? Margaret said. The easy one? I squint-eyed at her. What do you mean the easy one? Well, that's what my mom calls him. She says it's a good thing your parents got an easy one after you. Same thing in my family, but I'm the easy one. She says that when there are 2 kids in the family, there's always one easy one and one hard one. I guess that's the rule or something. Oh yeah, I said. I knew that, but I didn't really. So how about those markers? Margaret reminded me. Okay, I said, if the easy one could use them, then I guess the hard one could too. Let's go. And then we pressed B for basement and we rode all the way down to the apartment. I ran into the kitchen and climbed up onto the counter and grabbed the box of markers from my mom that she had hidden. And then I jumped down. Before I left, I yelled to my mother in the living room, Hi, Mom. Everything went great at school today. I was really paying attention the whole time. And now I'm going to go play with Margaret because everything's fine with Margaret and there's no problems at all. Bye. I wanted to tell her that so she wouldn't worry. Just then, I ran back out to Margaret in the elevator. She looked through the box and pulled out a marker named Flaming Sunset. Then she took off the cap and held the marker up against her hair. Wow, this would be perfect, she said. Let's go up to my apartment. I'd forgotten about that part, too. Is your mom mad at me still? I asked. Yep, but she took some aspirin and went to work. Only my brother is home. So I was okay, and then we rode up the elevator to Margaret's apartment, even though I don't like Margaret's room at all. One reason I don't like to go up there is because of Mascara. Mascara always hides under Margaret's bed and hisses because he hates everyone except for Margaret. But sometimes I can see his tail or I can see one paw, and then I feel too sad because it reminds me of my old cat Polka Dotty who died. Last year, Polka had 3 kitties in my bureau drawer, which luckily I always leave open. My parents let me name them, and since I have discovered that the most exquisite words in the world are the labels that you find in the bathroom, I carried the kittens into the bathroom and I looked around for beautiful names to name them. Fluoride and Laxative went to live with people who answered the free kittens hurry ad that my dad put in the newspaper, which was unfair to Polka because they were strangers. And then Margaret's mother said, "All right, Margaret, you can have a kitten as long as you can take care of it yourself." And that was really good because at last Mascara would be living with someone new. Except for that Polka Dotty died. So now Margaret has a cat, and that's just fine, but I don't. But the main reason I don't like to go to Mascara's room is that it makes me feel very itchy. I feel so itchy in Margaret's room because everything in the entire room looks exactly like a magazine picture. Everything matches and everything is always exactly where it's supposed to be and everything's in straight lines. Plus nothing in her room is ever broken. It's always clean. There's not a speck of dirt anywhere in her entire room. Actually, Margaret kind of looks like a magazine picture too. Her hair is always combed. Oh, well, I mean, it used to be. And her clothes always match. And I think she probably sleeps in the bathtub because I've never seen a single smudge of dirt on her anywhere. But I still kind of like her. It's not that easy, but she is living in my building. "Remember the rules," Margaret said when we got to her bedroom door. While Margaret was looking under the bed for Mascara, I accidentally touched her lamp, which is a China poodle with an umbrella that Margaret calls a parasol because she's such a show-off. Margaret turned around fast, but my hands jumped into my pockets even faster. "All right," I said, "let's get going with the coloring thing." This is called changing the subject. I'm really good at that. Oh, here's a picture. Here's the room. Oh, can you see where Mascara's hiding? Underneath the bed? It's very hard to color hair with a marker. Let me just tell you that. But I did it. I colored all of Margaret's hair chunks flaming sunset, and then another really great idea popped into my head, and I drew flaming sunset curls all over her forehead and the back of her neck so that her hair would look like mine, and it looked so beautiful, like a giant tattoo tangled up with worms. When I'm a grown-up, I will have hundreds of tattoos. Margaret looked in the mirror, and then she looked at my hair. Then she looked in the mirror again, and then she said, "Okay, it looks good." And then she told me she was getting bracelets to put on her teeth. Bracelets? Ooh, here she is. "You mean braces?" I told her. "No, bracelets. They're special kind of braces. They're like jewelry." "Oh," I said, "I already knew that." But I didn't, but that's fine. Later that night, when I was just at the hard part of falling asleep, which is lying in the dark trying not to think about pointing things, I heard the phone ring. My dad said, "Hi, Susan," which is Margaret's mother's name. And then he didn't say anything for a really long time. And then he said, "Now, Susan, let's look at this calmly." And then he didn't say anything for a really long time again. And then he said, "I'm sorry." He said it 7 times, which is 2 more times than he said it when he told my mother he thought her overalls were getting a little bit snug. Next, I heard him go into my brother's room where my mom was putting Broccoli to bed to say goodnight to him. And then I heard my parents whispering together as they walked down the hall, and they were coming to my room. I thought this would be an ideal time to practice pretend sleeping. I can feel them standing in my doorway, probably thinking, "This hard one is a lot more trouble than the easy one." And then my dad said, "I really think Clementine was just trying to help her. It's not her fault. Margaret wanted hair like Clementine's. You know she's always been a little jealous." That was the craziest thing I had ever heard, because Margaret is perfect. But I couldn't tell them this, because an important part of pretending to be asleep is not talking. Here's a picture. I like this picture a lot. She's snoozing. Look at her dad and mom in the doorway, but also look at her room and how different it looks than Margaret's room. They were a lot different, huh? What do you think? Do you think that Clementine was helping Margaret? Do you think she's a good friend? think is going to happen next? Think she's going to get in trouble? I don't know. You'll have to stay tuned and find out next time. Bye, guys.